I want to go back to Maria. So, will there also be an overhaul of some of the governors? I think about 3 or 4 of them today met with the Prime Minister. Of course, they've all come here for the presidential banquet that's going to happen, I think, tomorrow. Or tonight, I'm not sure. But will there be an overhaul now of some of the Raj Bhavans as well?
Yes, Zaka, because a number of governors are holding offices, are in charge of 2 states. So there will be overhaul that will happen. But I think, Zaka, it's interesting that even the functioning of Rajya Sabha, will it reflect how Governor Dhankar used to run the Raj Bhavan in Bengal? So, will that change completely? Because so far the Vice President in Venkaiah Naidu, he made that effort to really send the message to opposition that treasury benches and opposition can have some meeting ground. So he was seen as someone who was acceptable across party lines. Jagdeep Dhankar, when he functioned as the governor of the state of West Bengal, he was outright centre's man. He was seen as someone who was towing the BJP's line. So will that really mean that he will reflect the same when he takes the chair of the Rajya Sabha? So because the dynamics, Zaka, in the next few months of the Rajya Sabha is going to change. The role that the TMC will be playing based on its numerical strength, it can make the BJP's position difficult in the passage of legislation. The BJP has its numbers, let's be clear, it's above 100 for the first time that the BJP has reached, but the messaging, the larger messaging, will the Rajya Sabha function in the similar way, which is a very personality-driven Raj Bhavan that we saw when Mr. Dhankar was there in Bengal? Will that be reflecting also in the Rajya Sabha? That will be interesting to watch. But I think this is not high on symbolism. It is not about a first here. Yeah. This is more to do with political calculations. It's about sending a message to Mamata Banerjee that will she be standing with a governor from her state, a choice that made JMM pick Draupadi Murmu. Of course, the tribal aspect is there, but also Nitish Kumar, as you were highlighting rightly.
Okay. Arun is also there with us. Arun, talking about the political calculations, of course, Mr. Dhankar hails from Rajasthan. He's been a member of parliament before. He's been an MLA before. He comes from the influential Jat community. And as JP Nadda described him, the very first words that he used was Kisan Putra. How important is it in the context of the Rajasthan election that is slated to happen late next year? And also, more importantly, to try and bridge this perceived gap between the Modi government and the farmer community?
Well, Zaka, that's a very, very important point. Even though government has taken back the farm laws, but still there is lost, faith in the government of the farmers, and that's something which really going to help the BJP and the government. And because remember the farm protests which were taking place, majority of them were dominated by the Jat farmers. So, Jagdeep Dhankar, coming from Rajasthan, Jhunjhunu, has a farmer background and a Jat farmer. So that is something which of course is going to work in favor of BJP. They want to once again get back the faith of the farmers, and of course the administrative experience that he brings to the table. That is something which is also very important. But Rajasthan is going to polls next year. Perhaps this decision of BJP will work for them as well. So, but importantly, how he's going to manage things in Rajya Sabha, that is something which is going to be very, very important. Of course, the messaging has gone from the BJP side that they have given the second highest constitutional post to a farmer son, and secondly, how he's going to build that rapport with all the MPs there, because functioning of the parliament of especially Rajya Sabha is very, very important. So therefore, government want that consensus, and because he's ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, so he'll have to play a very, very crucial role.
All right, we're getting live shots of the PM now leaving the BJP party headquarters. He was, of course, part of that parliamentary board meeting. You can see JP Nadda, Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh saying their goodbyes to the Prime Minister. Of course, the meeting has just concluded. Now Amit Shah and JP Nadda having a quiet word as Rajnath Singh overlooks from the sidelines the Prime Minister's convoy just leaving the BJP party headquarters. Mr. R Rajagopalan is also joining us. Mr. Rajagopalan, so Jagdeep Dhankar, the governor of Bengal, is the NDA's choice to be the next vice president. Your first thoughts on this pick? Many are saying it's a surprising choice.
It is a surprising. And second thing, my understanding is that Rajasthan is going to polls. Rajya Sabha, the members of parliament are very unruly. Even Venkaiah Naidu could not handle it. Now, Mr. Dhankar, having the experience, having served as a governor of West Bengal, he has the choice of, controlling. I cannot say control, but he can conduct the house of the Rajya Sabha, because the government, though it has got 100 members,
okay,
but the opposition members
Mr.
are
Rajagopalan, I'm really sorry to interrupt, but we have senior TMC leader Madan Mitra on the phone line. Mr. Mitra, your first reaction: Jagdeep Dhankar has been nominated by the NDA to be the vice presidential candidate.
Let me make it very crystal clear to you.
Yeah.
It is a very sensitive matter, and the decision of our party will be taken by Ms. Mamata Banerjee only.
Mm-hmm.
So in this matter, so far we are concerned, we don't like to make any comment, but it will positively be decided by Mamata Banerjee, and our decision will be taken by her.
Mr. Mitra, do you see Mr. Dhankar as representing Bengal in that sense? After all, he's been governor there for the last 3.5 years or so.
I don't like to make any comments, but only I could say that Mr. Dhankar did not play any active role so far the Bengal is concerned, and she did do nothing good with which the Bengalis are happy.
So you are saying that whatever track record there is between your government and the governor, of course it's public knowledge, that all was not well, right?
And whatever it is, the decision will be taken by Mamata Banerjee. Absolutely a matter of the parliamentary party. So I can only say we are keeping a close vigil on the situation.
You are not saying that you are averse to supporting him?
I don't like to make any comment. Whatever has to be said. Okay, thank you.
All right, Madan Mitra, thank you very much. SP Singh, Baghel, Minister in the central government, is also joining us. Thank you very much, Mr. Baghel. Your first reaction: Kisan Putra Jagdeep Dhankar is how your party president described Mr. Dhankar. The choice is a bit surprising. No one quite expected the NDA to nominate Mr. Dhankar as the vice president. What are the reasons behind it?
बीजेपी ने और एनडीए ने जो उपराष्ट्रपति पद के लिए श्री जगदीप धनखड़ जी का चयन किया है, हम उसका स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं। और मेरी पहली रिएक्शन है कि अभी शौकत राय जी को मैं सुन रहा था, वो कह रहे थे कि मैं कोई खुद ही मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि जगदीप धनखड़ का व्यक्तित्व खूबियों से भरा हुआ है। वो एक सामान्य किसान जाट परिवार में पैदा हुए हैं, उसके बाद वो एमएलए रहे, एमपी रहे, भारत सरकार में मंत्री रहे, शिक्षाविद में, कानूनविद में, माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट में उन्होंने वकालत की है। और उसके अलावा जिन पदों पर रहे हैं उन्होंने अमित छाप छोड़ी है। और पश्चिम बंगाल के राज्यपाल, महामहिम राज्यपाल के रूप में उन्होंने अपने संवैधानिक दायित्वों का जो उपयोग किया है, उससे कुछ जिन लोगों का डेमोक्रेसी में और संविधान में विश्वास नहीं है, उनको भी पसंद होता है। महामहिम जब केसीनाथ त्रिपाठी पश्चिम बंगाल के राज्यपाल थे, जो उत्तर प्रदेश के स्पीकर भी थे और इलाहाबाद उच्च न्यायालय के प्रथम 4-5 वकीलों में उनकी गिनती थी, उनसे भी ममता बनर्जी को दिक्कत थी।
बघेल जी, लेकिन ये बताइए, द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी के केस में ऐतिहासिक था, हिस्टोरिक था कि फर्स्ट ट्राइबल महिला को आप राष्ट्रपति बना रहे हैं। इनके केस में तो कोई ऐसा ऐतिहासिक चीज नहीं है।
आवाज कट रही है, लेकिन अभी कोई कह रहे थे कि उनको अल्पसंख्यक बनाना चाहिए। ये तय करेगा ना किसको बनाना है, विपक्ष थोड़ा तय करेगा कि वो अपना प्रत्याशी तय कर लेंगे उनको लड़ाना हो। लेकिन जगदीप धनखड़ जी, मैंने बताया कि किसान परिवार से और शेखावती जाते हैं, वीरों की भूमि है, त्याग का बच्चा बलिदान की भूमि है, जहाँ लोग अन्याय अत्याचार और शोषण के खिलाफ मुगलिया सल्तनत से भी लड़ते रहे हैं। वहीं के माटी के पुत्र को जो है राष्ट्रपति पद एनडीए ने घोषित किया है। निश्चित तौर से वो एक पढ़े लिखे कानूनी शिक्षा मंत्री हैं, राज्यसभा का संचालन में अपनी योग्यता और अपने अनुभव का लाभ सभा को मिलेगा।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद बघेल साहब हमें हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए और आपके रिएक्शन के लिए. Let me go back to Mr. Rajagopalan. Yes, you were saying that this is a pretty unexpected choice, but how do you see this playing itself out, Mr. Rajagopalan? Because it is a bit of a googly for Mamata Banerjee. Can she be seen as opposed to him, and yet at the same time can she be seen as supporting him because of the public spats that they've had in the last 3 years?
And moreover, if you noticed, the Narendra Modi's mindset is having chosen only the governors. Ramnath Govind was governor.
Yes.
Even Madam Murmuru was governor. He is also governor. Therefore, Mr. Narendra Modi wants the constitution position to be replaced by another constitution person who held the office. That is one. Second thing is a message for Rajasthan, which is going for polls next year. Second, most important, the Trinamool Congress MPs have been more, vocal. They have been very outright. And second thing, they have done some sort of, during Venkaiah Naidu's time, they stood up and they did a march and, they created some sort of mayhem in the house, hooliganism in the house. And moreover, they danced on the table. Now, Mr. Dhankar, having dealt Bengal politics, having known Bengal politics, it is a sort of a check on Mamata Banerjee. That is what I could manage, narrate. The reason being, for Uddhav Thackeray, there is Eknath Shinde. For Mamata Banerjee, there is Jagdeep Dhankar at the highest place, because Rajya Sabha is going to be very crucial for next 2-3 years for Narendra Modi's government. Suppose if next year they brought UCC bill, Uniform Civil Code bill, Rajya Sabha will not deliberate it. But Jagdeep Dhankar can give a room for the government to debate it, deliberate it, whether they pass it or not. There will be an open, a window will be open for Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. So therefore, it's a political decision that Narendra Modi has taken to nominate Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. Another very interesting question, which I would like to ask you, the reason who will replace Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar in West Bengal? He must be an equal person,
Yeah.
Otherwise, there won't be a bonny home between Mamata Banerjee and the governor.
Okay,
So
Mr.
my
Rajagopalan, I'm
understanding-
completely out of time. Thank you very much for joining us on this Saturday evening with your thoughts and perspective. Like I said, quite a surprising choice in Jagdeep Dhankar. Now, it'll be interesting to see how, the TMC reacts to it and how the rest of the opposition reacts to it. And more importantly, who the opposition's candidate will be. Will they put one? Because the numbers are clearly not on their side. And if they do, who that candidate might be. That's a wrap, but join us in a moment on the other side for News Blitz.